Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Hockey Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you guys today, where we're going to be starting off by talking about some breaking news from the NHL world that just got released about a half hour ago. Next, I will discuss the games from Saturday night. After that, I'll be breaking down the games from Sunday night. We will talk then about the conclusion of the Canucks-Oilers game, as Carson Soucy is announced to have gotten a one-game suspension on a cross-check for Connor McDavid. And make sure you stick around for later in the show when I will conclude today's show by previewing the games for Monday night. Before we start, however, I'd like to ask that you guys like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read live on air, I ask that you use the tips and donations link that you see on the screen right now at gsmcpodcast.net with your questions. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I can see it, and also really helps the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net. Alright guys, so we're going to get right into the first topic here, where we're going to be talking about Valeri Nichushkin, a forward on the Colorado Avalanche. He is getting suspended 6 months without pay. This broke, I saw Frank Cervalli, it was the first one that I saw report on this, but this is a decision coming out of the NHLPA's camp. He got put into stage 3 of NHLPA rehabilitation or some program. He got put in stage 3 of that program, which means a minimum of 6 months without pay. After that sixth month, he can apply for reinstatement. So what this means for Valeri Nichushkin is he's confirmed out for the rest of these of the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs. He is also going to miss the start of the next regular season up until November. What day is it today? November 13th, because the decision got ruled on today. So he is out for guaranteed 6 months up until November 13th. This is a big blow for the Colorado Avalanche. He is currently their leading scorer on a team with Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, Jonathan Drouin, these guys that are known scorers in the NHL. Valeri Nichushkin is the one that's leading them in goal scoring. He has been playing amazing in these playoffs, but it's so unfortunate for the Colorado Avalanche now to be without him. There was speculation, and I think this was also reported on by Frank Cervalli, that he potentially failed a drug test, and to be put in stage 3 of this program, it must be, not any typical drug. It must have been something a little bit stronger than what we normally see in the headlines for athletes. That's just all speculatory, so I'm not going to make any really harsh allegations on that. But let me tell you, that is an absolute shock when we're talking about, this run that the Colorado Avalanche are on is really based through him. They were able to dispose of the Winnipeg Jets so easily because he was just firing on all cylinders in that first round. And he, continued that in Game 1 against the Stars. And he hasn't been able to be really that same guy in Game 2 or Game 3. But you were really looking for him tonight as they play tonight, which leaves, the Avalanche kind of scrambling to fill that spot. I saw on some projected lineups that it's Jonathan Drouin, who is currently a game time decision to be able to play, but it looks like he'll fit right into that Valeri Nichushkin first line right wing spot, which is a big downgrade for the Colorado Avalanche. Jonathan Drouin is a pretty good scorer in his own right. However, you're talking about a guy that has the current lead in the playoffs in goals, and you're missing that guy. And, man, that is disappointing. Valeri Nichushkin was last away from the Avalanche to receive care from the NHL and NHLPA program in January until he was from January until he was cleared to practice with the team in late February. It looks like this is just an ongoing issue, which probably made his sentencing a little bit worse than what you normally would see. But this is definitely a harsh punishment, and this is now the second playoff run in a row that the Colorado Avalanche are scrambling to fill that spot because Valeri Nichushkin was unable to play. I believe last year he also got suspended. A lot of speculation on that one too. but it's definitely a huge blow for the Avs. You can't really make an understatement for this. So what does this mean for the Colorado Avalanche playoff push? Let me tell you. The Colorado Avalanche have been great this year and have been great in this postseason, mostly because of their scores, mostly because you've been gaining that production from your superstars, your Cale Makars, your Valeri Nichushkin, your Nathan MacKinnon, and now you're without one of those guys, and that could be an absolutely huge blow for them. Really, no understatement here. This could make them lose this Dallas Stars series. What's a little bit funny is before this got announced, I had my script all written up. I had all my show notes for this one all done, and then this news comes out, and I have to delete one of my segments, which was talking about a little breakdown of the series so far, a little bit of recapping what we've seen in these series, and giving you guys my predictions for the rest of the way. But it looks like I'm not going to be able to do that one. And what's unfortunate for the Avs is I had them Avs in 6. I thought that they were going to take the next 3 straight from the Dallas Stars. I think that their superstars have been underperforming in these playoffs. Or, sorry, not in these playoffs, but in this round of the playoffs. They scored a ridiculous 5.60 goals per game against the Winnipeg Jets. And it's been a little... they've settled down a little bit. You're going up against Jake Ottinger, who... I would say is on the same level as Connor Hellebuyck. It just seems like Connor Hellebuyck doesn't really know how to play hockey when it comes to April and May. But really, you have Jake Ottinger, who has just had all of these guys' numbers, and I thought that was going to change, and I thought that the Avalanche were going to be able to break through in this Game 4 that we're going to see. I do still expect them to win. We'll talk more on that preview. Of course, this is going to be a big topic on that preview. We're going to talk about that in the 5th segment tonight. However, let me tell you, this is a huge blow for the Colorado Avalanche. I really can't emphasize this enough. You're missing your first line right winger, your number 1 goals production. He has 10 points in these playoffs. He really helped them so much when it came to that Winnipeg Jets series, and helped them in Game 1 of this series. And expecting him to turn it around. Nathan MacKinnon is really good. He can definitely play. He could definitely adapt to whoever plays on that right wing, and you still have Mika Rantanen on this team. You still have Mika Rantanen on your left wing. But let me tell you, there's going to be guys that need to step up. You're looking at probably like a Zach Parise to step up. That's a guy that's looking to slot in on that second line right wing. Maybe Arturi Lehkonen needs to step up. You have a lot of guys who you're going to need to call on who kind of had that luxury of being those third line guys who, if they scored, it's great, but you're not really expecting them to. You're just expecting them to give you good minutes. But now you're going to need to see that offensive production out of guys like Zach Parise, maybe guys like Jonathan Drouin, who is directly filling in for Valeri Nichushkin. But this is, you can't really replace that production. This is going to go to like that kind of Moneyball point where you're talking about replacing the production in the aggregate. For those of you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, in Moneyball, you saw the Oakland Athletics in the early 2000s lose guys like Johnny Damon and blanking on the other guy's name, but they lost a bunch of superstars from their team, and instead of going out and since they didn't have money to sign other great guys, you have to replace it in the aggregate, meaning you're going to need to sign like 4 guys that can do the work of what these 2 guys were able to do. So you're going to need to see that with the Colorado Avalanche. I think you're going to need to replace Valeri Nichushkin in the aggregate. You're going to need guys to step up all the way down this lineup that really have had, once I said like I said earlier, kind of had the luxury of being able to not have to worry about being a goal scorer, because you have guys like Nathan MacKinnon and Valeri Nichushkin who have been able to step up in these playoffs. And Mika Rantanen, who have been able to step up in these playoffs. But it's very worrisome for the Colorado Avalanche. I don't believe that they can get past the Dallas Stars anymore. And as my computer goes away, I don't believe that they can beat the Dallas Stars anymore in these playoffs. And I really worry about them if they even were able to beat the Dallas Stars. Once again, the Stars do have a 2-1 series lead on them. I'd be very worried about, going on to next year. there's a lot of talk right now about what the Colorado Avalanche's front office is feeling from this because, like I said, this is the second missed playoff run in a row for a guy that's 29, not really getting any younger. This seems like is something that is within his control from all the from what we're hearing from what the news that has been reported so far is saying. This is stuff that's in his control that he just hasn't been able to control it. So it's very unfortunate for a guy like Valeri Nichushkin, who is a great goal scorer, great player in the NHL. He will be missed in these playoff runs, not just by the Avalanche, but by us fans who want to see good hockey. He's a great player. You're missing a lot on that power play for the Colorado Avalanche. So a lot of questions for what the Colorado Avalanche's front office is going to do kind of as a reactive decision from this news that is breaking. You're also missing him for the first 2 months of the regular season, which is a good amount of time. You're not really worried about the Avalanche not making the playoffs next season. And if anybody's worried about that, I'll put those to bed real quick. This is still a great squad. But I don't think that they're able to beat those other really great contenders. I've been talking about it with this series specifically, the veteran depth versus the superstars. The veteran depth on the Stars, or on the Dallas Stars, and the superstars on the Colorado Avalanche. Well, you're losing one of your superstars now for the Colorado Avalanche. So you're going to really need your depth to step up now. And that's not really within your wheelhouse. You don't really have that amazing depth like the Dallas Stars do to be able to step up in there. So a lot of questions for the Colorado Avalanche, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they proceed from now on. But that will wrap up our first segment. And when I come back from my break, we will be talking about the playoff games from Saturday night.